So on the board, Dana, where do we stand? Republicans are one seat away from getting the majority in the House, 217. You need to get to 218 to do it, okay? So what's happening out there? You got about a dozen races that have yet to be decided. Just want to show you a little bit out here in California. They take their time in California. I just want you to know that. This, however, there's a huge district, right? You see that's Congressional District 3 running all around the Nevada border here. A little more than half the vote has been accounted for. The Republican leads that, Kevin Kiley does. If he hangs on to that would be a pickup, and that would get you, well, 9,700 is his lead right now. That would get you to 218. If that does not happen, I'll pop out here. No, let's go right here. And I'll show you. Yeah, here we go. Mike Garcia, that's north of L.A. He is winning his race as well. About 2/3 of the votes been accounted for, but an easy lead here with 13,000 votes. That, if he hangs on, that would be the pickup that gets you to 218 as well. Okay, so if that all happens, right, if you just get one of those two seats I mentioned in California, you still have to hang on to what you have. And Lauren Boebert in this enormous district here, Congressional District 3 in Colorado, right now she's clinging to a lead. Almost about 99% of the estimated vote is out there. Difference of 1,100 votes. She needs to hang on in order for the Republicans to still just be one seat away. And I mentioned at the beginning of this that California counts kind of slow. Dana, remember yesterday I was talking about California District 22? Yeah. David Valadao, a Republican running.
And they were at 53%.
Were they at 53?
I think so,
okay.
Yesterday.
Well, I tell you, today, Dana, they are at 54. Let's move on across the way here, Jimmy, and I'll show you. So, and I think they're at 53, 54 on Friday, on Saturday.
Oh yeah, it never moved.
And apparently, one of the counties has one tabulator. So they said earlier today, it could be weeks.
Oh, I don't understand it, but let's bring in Mark Penn, former Clinton pollster and a Fox News contributor. Just quick on the slow counting. Should something be done about that?
Well, obviously, we should have a standard by which boards of elections count things efficiently, and even when there are things that they have to wait for. I mean, they shouldn't be sitting here, waiting weeks for a California congressional district to be counted, especially when it could be the difference between 217 and 218.
Right. Would you have to do it at the federal level? I mean, because what you answered there would suggest that the states could not do it on their own individually as all 50.
Well, look, but we know really that there are just 3 or 4 states with problems. Right. Arizona, Nevada, and California.
We think.
You actually clear up those and you're in pretty good shape. Right. You could find out.
Here's what I think about that, Mark. You only see the warts when the races are close. You only see the problem when the races are super tight.
That's a fair point, but they're going to continue to be tight in Arizona and Nevada. Those 2 states are going to be in play. So I don't know that you need a national standard, but you do need the governors to get together and form a pact and say, look, here, let's share our best technology, let's share our practices. And remember, a lot of boards of elections, frankly, are patronage appointments. It's just if you actually were to go down and wonder who winds up in the board of elections.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah, he certainly does, always does. Okay, so it is likely the Republicans will get to 218 today. It could have even happened in the next couple of hours. So then they have the majority. Last week, President Biden said he would not do anything differently. But looking forward, like if you were advising the Democrats now, what is the best thing that they could do to try to position themselves for continued victory or even a re-election of Biden in the next 2 years?
Well, look, there's something called the Problem Solvers Caucus, a group of Democrat and Republican. They're going to have the balance of power here. If they want to assert bipartisanship here and try to reshape things, there'll never be more of an opportunity for the assertion of a third force outside of the forces that are really locked into partisanship here to try to break gridlock. And it will really be up to the White House whether they really form some kind of alliance with the problem solvers and try to move things forward, or they sit back and say, let's go to an election.
What's your level of optimism for option A that you were describing?
Low.
Yeah.
Take it in?
Low, because the theme of the election is we almost won. We didn't do as bad as everybody thought we would do. So therefore, right now, look, people are thinking first, am I running for president? And what is that going to mean? And what kind of White House is it going to be if I'm running for president versus if I'm not running for president? You got to make that decision first.
And when does he have to make that decision?
Well, now. I mean, he pretty much has to make that decision.
After Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
How do you game that out in your own head? with those two scenarios? If I'm running, it's going to be this way. If I'm not running, it's going to be.
If I'm running, I'm all about.
What does that look like?
If I'm running, I'm all about re-election. If I'm not running, I'm all about legacy. Okay? And so then what do I put on the board? On the first one, swing voters we didn't get, where we lost, how we lost it, issues that we're a deficit on. Legacy, totally different board. What is it that I really want to
But isn't part of the legacy who succeeds him?
Obama didn't really seem to, place that as very high on the legacy. There doesn't seem to be much of a foreign policy notion of legacy here, which presidents would normally have. It's been a real focus on domestic policy. Does he want to push climate change? So if his legacy is he just all about climate change, racial equity, and those themes that he sounded in the first 2 years? If he's re-election, then I'd expect some pretty dramatic changes and working with this Congress.
Mark, come back soon, okay? Love to chat with you.
Yeah, great to have you. Thank you.
Mark Penn, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.